Hey everyone, it's Tana. Welcome back and welcome to my video for the Spread Joy Not Germs blog hop. Here's the products I'm going to be using today. They put this hop together to spread inspiration and joy to all our fellow stampers and crafters that are home, alone, anxious, or just even bored. I know I'm going crazy. So while you watch me do some masking and stamping here, I'm going to tell you there are a ton of sponsors and a ton of prizes. If you comment on every video, you have an increased chance of winning a prize. You don't have to comment on every video. Really quick, I colored my images ahead of time because we're going to be doing some ink blending and then we're going to put together a light up card. Here I'm using some Catherine Pooler inks and some snot tape, which is like a painter's tape that doesn't tear your paper. And I'm using Grape Crush and Blackjack. I'll have those listed above just in case I got that wrong because I'm not looking at the video. Okay, so moving on. My card personally, I wanted to create something that was fun and cheerful, but also something that gave inspiration to people who maybe aren't exactly feeling themselves or feeling top-notch at a time like this. I certainly don't feel like myself being stuck in the house and trying to figure out homeschooling. I make the joke all the time that my youngest daughter dropped out of homeschooling because I'm really bad at it. After I ink blended my upper half of my panel with the purple, I'm going to go over it with the Blackjack Catherine Pooler ink because we want those checkers and the wonky checker stencil. And the reason I put down the snot tape was to create like a wall and a floor. So I used my Queen for a Day Catherine Pooler ink pad and I just swiped it across the bottom half of the card panel with the snot tape there. Now I'm going to stamp out the sentiment, which is quite a large sentiment, on a piece of Judykins embossable window plastic, and I'm going to heat emboss that with clear embossing powder. So while I fool around with that, like I said, you can comment. The more you comment, every video, some of the videos, the better your chance to win. I'm going to ask you to comment below and tell me what gives you inspiration and or joy right now while you're stuck at home. And me, it's making cards and hanging out with the kids, although I do have to say I send them outside when it's warm enough so I can have some alone time, because you really do need that. When you're a person that's used to spending some time alone, which I don't get a lot of it, but at nighttime, that's my alone time. So I went through all my shape dies, and the Doris ones were the only ones that fit what I wanted. So I created a frame for the size hole that I'm going to put in the card front, and then I heat embossed it with Nouveau Fine Detail Black Embossing Powder, but I had to do that 3 times to get the shininess and the coverage I wanted on that frame. And then I used the inner frame that I used to create, or the inner die that I used to create the frame, to cut the hole into my card front. Then I used my BV8, I think it was, marker just to go along the inside. That was the purple that matched the best. And now I'm using some vellum, and I'm totally coloring that with my 100 black marker, Copic marker. And now I'm going to open up my Easy Lights and give you an example of just how easy they are. So you break, this is a 5-pack, so I snapped one off apart from the others. And now I'm taking out one of the batteries, popping it plus side up into the little compartment, and you push the button and that's it, they work. So I'm taking the little Cheshire Cat face from the Wonderland Wisdom Sentiment set, and I powdered up my vellum really good with my anti-static powder bag. And now I'm just going to use some Lawn Fawn glow-in-the-dark embossing powder on his face. Look at that, isn't that so cool? Even the jar was glowing. And now I'm going to use my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to glue my sentiment into that window that I cut. And it says, when you can't look on the bright side, I will sit with you in the dark. So normally when I make a light up card, you can't see the lights. Like the last one I made, which is a couple videos below this, I used the lights inside the castle windows. On this one, the sentiment itself and what it means are the highlight of this card. So the lights are stuck in the window so that you could see them, but then you have the Cheshire Cat's face even when it gets dark. So that was my inspiration for this card. So I like the way it turned out. I have a whole Cheshire Cat, to go down on the bottom underneath Alice's chair, and I stamped out the sentiment "Push Me" from the Interactively Yours stamp set from Heffy Doodle, and that way people will know to push that little button under there. Now I'm just taking my little ruler and measuring where he is on the front so that I can place my button and battery compartment in the proper place on the inside, or on the second panel. When I do light up cards, I don't put the lights on the card front itself. I do a second panel and then foam tape them together, and then I glue that whole thing onto the card front. I just think it gives it added stability. And you're going to need a double layer of foam tape. I was going to say, and if you have any, if I don't show you clearly enough, which these are pretty easy, but, you know, I'm not exactly inclined when it comes to lights and stuff. So if I haven't shown you, you can always go to Pear Blossom Press, her YouTube channel, or her blog. She's got tons of tutorials on these lights. So now I'm just coiling the extra wire that I don't need. You don't want to put any creases in it because I don't know if that would break the connection. So I'm just going to put one down towards the bottom of the window, and I don't want any wire showing. So I try to use up or coil up as much of the wire as I can. And then the second one's going to go to the right side, and the third one's going to go up at the top. I do have a little bit of wire showing on all three lights, so I end up just coloring very carefully the wire black with my Copic marker. I don't touch the light itself at all. And you'll see that in a second. And these lights are so easy. I mean, they already work. As soon as you pop in the battery, that's it. They're already working. So you just put them where you want them. Make sure you tape down the extra wire really well, and that's it. So you can start to see it coming together now. So I'm going to start placing my foam tape. And I purposely placed foam tape all around the window. One, to give it stability because that's a wide open space. And two, to keep that light down so that no extra wire would come into my window. And I'm going to use my black marker, just color the sides of that foam tape so it doesn't either reflect or show the foam tape itself when the card lights up. Now I'm just going to fill in the rest of those empty spaces. Excuse me. It's cold here. It's actually snowing. It was snowing this morning. Now it's hailing. So, and it's 2 in the morning. Before I put this together, I decided to add some Nouveau square amethyst gems, just to give it a little bit of some interest in there when the card's not lit up, because you can't really see the Cheshire Cat's face as well when it's not glowing. And I always put a tiny bit of glue on top of my foam tape to make sure that the card stays together well, but not too much. You don't want any wet glue getting on your battery compartment. Now we're just going to glue that whole thing to the card front. I used some more Nouveau Deluxe adhesive for that. And our card is done. There's the glowing faces. And there it is, lit up in the dark. And I have some pictures coming up here. All the information that I did not give you will be below. The deadline for comments for the prizes is April 24th. Remember, the more you comment, the better your chance of winning. And you can also go to catherinepooler.com or Hedgehog Hollow. I'll have those links below, so that if you get lost in the hop, you can go there for the list and also for the prize list. And I hope you guys enjoy this hop and you find some inspiration. Bye-bye for now.